Well, how's it going, everyone? Let's get on to a video that I usually don't do. A lot of you guys have been reaching out and commenting questions here and there about the build. I'm here to answer most of them and just kind of show you the build so far. My last video, I had some issues. My micro servo, I think it was having issues, and this is for the 2-speed transmission. It was having a lot of trouble switching from low to high. Ever since I upgraded the metal gears into it, it was just kind of struggling switching. Maybe it was too heavy for it, or just that upgrade itself, it just gave it a lot of trouble. My second issue that day, this guy decided to kind of almost incinerate, and so did the battery. I've never had something like that happen before. I'm not sure if it's even waterproof. I think I've submerged it before in water. Luckily I had another one available, another ESC, so I kind of just ran home, repaired everything, try to get the video done, cut the wire on this one, and the lever right here where it switches from low to high, kind of just pinned it right here in this area. So this was sitting there, and I just it's kind of, there you go, see, it moves, so I just kind of pinned it down to it. So yesterday I spent the day kind of trying to upgrade this second speed transmission servo, which I had a couple options. This one came with the steering. This was the stock servo for the steering on this thing, which, you know, it has a old metal gear servo now. Works great. And then this was the other option, but the problem with this one was it was not going to fit in the chassis frame. Luckily I remembered I have a drift car chassis just kind of catching dust, and I had a low profile servo, and it works pretty great. Works great, switches like nothing now. And this was a big issue recording out there when this little guy was just whining the whole entire time. It just started making a lot of noise, and it was struggling, but now it could rest. But let's get down to it. This is my WPL B16, aka the M35A2, I believe, 6x6. Let's break it down. Well, yesterday I also did my receiver, kind of just, this is the outer casing of it, so it's all in here now. Just kind of angled 2 screws on the side, fed all my wires right there, and it fits perfect. I mean, who would have known? Just gotta make some cuts in the body right here where the cables exit. Those are kind of in the way, kind of hard. I just wanted to keep a lot of space in here because there's so much wires from the lighting. There's a lot of LEDs, of course, and it's always a pain in the butt getting those wires nice and zip tied to something. Keep them out of sight. This is the kind of latest metal upgrade for the rear wheels. Problem with this thing is that the travel, when I first got it and I built it, I wasn't sure if I built it right, because it was only swaying back and forth, and I didn't like that, because the plastic one you could have individual axle travel. Now it does, after I kind of just added some washers. Because of the links right here, these screws would just kind of just sink into the links and pop out, and you're only getting back and forth motion like this. And ever since I kind of just messed with it, added some washers and kept the screws slightly loose, now you get individual axle travel, which is what I wanted. And I'm not going to settle with just back and forth motion, where it's just going to look very unrealistic in the shots. Moving to the front front axle, I did have some issues. To begin with was the steering link right here. After upgrading the leaf springs, of course they're metal as well. The issue with this was the screw where it's supposed to, in the setup, it's supposed to, the steering link's supposed to be way at the bottom right here, where it goes underneath here. Somehow onto the servo, which you need a really long arm from way up there to down here to make that happen. But the issue was the turning. It's gonna hit the leaf spring. So best option I did was add a very long screw right here and just kind of tucked it inside the leaf spring, where now it has a lot of motion, and then the steering link gets out of the way, and it's not gonna hit anything. There's a lot of motion in the front compared to the back, and especially with turning your wheels and all, it would be getting in the way. So that was my best option. It's worked out great. I have not had any steering issues with it. All right, let's talk about the cabin and the paint job. Well, to begin with, this started as a military green plastic, color to it. Took it all apart, just how it is. Took all the plastics and all the stock accessories to it, and sprayed it with chrome first, and then yellow. That's the best thing to do, is when you spray it with chrome or silver, eventually you're going to scratch it, or if you want to weather it and kind of give it an old look, used look, and just go with that. Instead of just using one color, make sure you spray it with chrome first, and then its primary color, which gives it a nice detail when it gets scratched. These ones are my favorite right here, because these are all natural from opening and closing the hood so much, and then it just looks great. Some of them kind of just from hitting things, or I kind of just scratched some of the parts on the door itself, but when the silver shows the chrome, it looks great. And then after that, you could just add Tamiya weathering the kit, just kind of add some of the rust color to it. Like I said, it gives it a finer detail look. The rear of this thing, I used metal rods right here. Added some snow chains for the wheels. Those holes right here, this is where the stock exhaust pipes were going up. Yeah. This is supposed to cover that. But the wheel's gonna sit right here, so I kind of didn't really do much about sealing up the holes. I'm moving to the side, front. Of course, the mirrors. I kind of just used metal rod as well. Kind of just went with it. These plastic pieces are out of the mud flaps that kind of just hang from this thing. There's some mud flaps. I just kind of clipped them to this angle because they gave me this perfect little rotating. Well, not gonna rotate anymore since I hot glued it. So it came out looking great, because you gotta have those wide mirrors, and of course mirrors themselves. Now the exhaust tip right here. Go to the hobby store, you get these metal rods. They're nice and bendable. Kind of just runs through there onto the body, into the chassis itself. It's nice and hidden. This is a little mesh, the same mesh I use for the front grille, which I cut out. The snorkel, kind of a modern day looking snorkel. This is used out of polystyrene. My favorite thing to work with. This is a 1/4 inch tube, or for those from the other side of the world, 6.3 millimeters. Just use a lighter, keep it up pretty high until it gets nice and warm and it just starts bending. So I just kind of bended it into the side of the engine bay, the original truck. That's where the air intake is located at. Moving to the front, like I said, grill, it's cut out, put a mesh in it, same mesh as it just gives it a nice detail right here. Just kind of wrapped it around, give it one of those. I'm not really sure what the real proper name is. Maybe like the heat protector, or just to, I guess, maybe if you make contact, you don't burn yourself. But the same thing is right here to the front. The only thing that kind of bums me out, I couldn't find any proper size lens covers for the LEDs in the front. Couldn't find the good size for these, but from far away, I mean, you can't really tell. I mean, now you can, because you know. But yeah, looks great from front, nice and scratched up, little details here and there. One of my favorite things from SnowRunner is the hood ornaments. One of my favorite one is the Night Terror, which is a bat. I couldn't find a bat, but I found a pterodactyl. There it is. It's a little pterodactyl. That's what it is. Yeah, looks great. Gives it that SnowRunner look. Just same thing with the front visor there, made out of well, I cut it out of aluminum sheeting with some heavy duty scissors. Then you got your utility lights on the top. You just love how small and up to scale it is with this one. I know it's missing a driver. I haven't added one because there's not any figures to my liking that are proper for this scale. And I kind of thought maybe I could just sculpt my own, and I'm pretty good at sculpting with clay, and so I'll eventually do that, but who knows when. And of course, you got your air freshener in there. Another detail I love adding to my my vehicles, and it's the WPL Dragon right there. It's just great detail from, you know, SnowRunner. I gotta add a camera in there. That'll be awesome. Just a little camera, but I think you should just be looking at the interior. There's a bunch of blur. Anyways, getting getting sidetracked out here. But that's the cabin. That's the mostly main exterior to it. If you have any questions, if I missed anything, just let me know. It's a logging trailer. Kind of made this out of just basically leftover spare parts from upgrading all the metal parts to this. And actually this was supposed to be a fuel tank chassis that I ordered from Amazon, but I got so excited I was like, it's 15 bucks. That's pretty decently priced for what it is. But I just got the chassis. There was no fuel tank to it, and kind of figured why it was so cheap. And I just went too ahead of myself, and I thought I got ripped off until I kind of went back to it and kind of read the description, and it said no fuel tank included, and it's just the chassis. I mean, it worked out anyways, because I put used to it. Basically just came with the chassis itself and the rear wheel setup. It's just your typical I forget the name to this. I will add it when I'm editing. And just kind of painted the wheels black. Front ones are a little different. This ones are metal, these are plastic, but kind of like the look how, you know, the rotating wheels are different from the ones in the rear. The front was just completely all out of my imagination. Again, this is aluminum, same is used as the visor there. This cables are this one right here. This is out of a very colorful bracelet that I got at the hobby store. Couldn't find any solid black ones, so then I'm just spraying it. And this is just your typical wiring cables that you can just get out of scrap. Probably used for braking system or electrical system. For the actual trailer, I kind of just reference it out of images on Google, and heavily inspired by SnowRunner. In SnowRunner, typically these are actual straps, not chains, but at this scale, these are not as flowy in slow motion, so they just look a lot more better when it's recorded in slow motion, which that's how I usually shoot. For this scale, you have to, because otherwise it's just gonna be a lot of bouncy, and it's just gonna look silly. And you just gotta want to slow it down. And anyways, get into this build. Use square tubes from you can get at the hobby store. These are 1/4 inch. For those from the other side, 0.250 or what is it? 6.3 millimeters. Yeah, just kind of cut them down. Cut the tips at an angle. Just gives a really nice logging. Spray painted it. Eventually, I mean, it was all different color and put together. This is a diamond plated sheet. It's polystyrene. Polystyrene is my best friend. I always work with it. I don't do 3D, anything 3D. If I could do it hand, I'll do it handcrafted. And yeah, it came out great. You know, just kind of some metal parts like this. These are all metal shims. Kind of just cut them with the grinder, and you just screw drill the holes, three points for each support. It's great. In the inside, I added where are they at? Again, metal rods for the inside, because this is polystyrene. It's plastic, so it's pretty fragile. But once I added that, it's more durable. The whole entire front, like I said, spare parts, polystyrene plate right here with the chassis supports right here. I'm not really sure what they're called, but it would be kind of like these. Kind of connect the chassis just like these. One right here, one in the front, and then on the top it's the polystyrene, but it's a very thick one. I can't remember the size to it, but it's all pivoted by a screw, nut, and you got your little bearing right there. It causes the rotation. Same with the inside. There's a bearing in here, and it's worked out really great. I have not had any issues with this thing. I mean, you've seen it on video. It does great. Just kind of melted the corners right here because of this thing, in case it was pointy and it was kind of hitting, so it kind of just melted. A fun build overall, and I'm really happy that you guys are kind of reaching out, and it's been a fun build. One of my favorites out of all the vehicles I've done so far, and I'm glad you all enjoyed. And like I said, I don't do videos like this because I'm just all about the shooting, and I stumble a lot in my words. So thank you for joining me. Reach for the sky.